Hello, hello. I am Rachel, teacher, healer, author, and modern mystic. Thank you so much for tuning into my divine channeled message of the month. Quite often I found when I've been doing these regularly that I know who I'm channeling before it starts, and today I don't. So that's fun. So we'll find out in a second. For those of you who don't know me and know my work, hi Jackie. The way that I work is I don't go into trance to channel. I set the intent that my ego steps over. I set the intent that what comes to me is the words that need to be said. Other people work in trance to channel, and I don't. And I've realised that I haven't done for a very long time. If anyone's come to me for a reading, they will know that most of what comes out of my mouth is channeled. I don't know the next thing that I'm about to say. So this evening I will see who steps forward, see what messages they've got. There will be some inspiration, there'll be some truths, there'll be maybe some information about what's happening with the planet or energy or vibrations or any of that stuff which might come up. So hey Kerry, so feel free to say hi. If you're on catch up, again, please feel free to say hi. You know, it's nice to kind of get your energy into the video just by having your name pop up. So it's really interesting. Before I sat earlier on, I thought, well, it'd be nice for me to actually have a candle going every day for healing purposes. And so I've half set it up before I started. And hey, Emma. And what's interesting about what I've half set up is it's rose quartz and amethyst. It's all purples and pinks, and that's all violet flame. And violet flames are pretty high vibration. So I've really tuned into that energy because I really felt myself that I needed healing, and that's clearly the vibe that's coming through is this healing vibe. What I'll do is I'll pop the candle up later. So if you've got anyone that you want to add in for healing, I have several people in my life at the moment that want to add in for healing, then please feel free to add loved ones' names to that when I share it. Even if you're on catch up, time and space doesn't exist. Even if somebody was ill, maybe even at the time of recording this, and you think, oh my gosh, you will have, just by putting their name on that, retrospectively, you would have helped their healing at that time, because obviously we know time and space does not exist outside of the physical plane. And those are the planes that we are dealing with this evening. So what I will do is just have a nosy round. See who's here. Oh, okay. So I'm just trying to, for me, Uriel very much comes in on the sage vibration, and an aspect. There's several aspects which I'm doing some work around the archetypes, which are some of the original beings in the universe. And the archangel we know as Uriel is one of the original beings of the universe. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so Mother Spider's definitely here, as is, I think it's St. Philip, and I'm just tuning into his energy now just to double check. Whether it's Uriel coming through as St. Philip or if it's Uriel himself. Okay, so who I have with me is St. Philip. If anyone knows any of their Bible stories or knows the actual Bible truth, then St. Philip was a Greek who was part of the Jesus movement, and he had 4 daughters who were all prophetesses. They were all, that's all in the Bible, they're all prophetesses. And he's a wonderful energy to work with. He's a really balanced masculine figure, not effeminate, but certainly more feminine in his energy than masculine. Comes across typical sort of Greek with a short beard, etc. And just going to block somebody. How rude. Nothing ruder than when somebody's trying to get into their flow for people to come on and be rude on your thread. Although it does mean I'm being seen, so I will take that from the universe. Thank you. So St. Philip's a really, really wonderful figure to work with, an emotional figure, and a very empowering figure. He's a guide, not a leader, and he's often quite quiet. You won't notice that he's around when you're doing bits and pieces. So much wisdom comes from him. There was a time when we used to say live and let live, but that was when the world felt different. And now we are in a time when anger is at the fore. Children, do not allow this anger to be your focus. Allow that anger to be seen, to be heard, and deal with it as you would deal with anger in a child. Suppression of emotions has never been and will never be a movement forward. So ne'er misunderstand my words. The truth is that emotional blockage and emotional rejection are the cause of your current issues, children. The cause of failure to acknowledge your human self. So heal and recognize. Heal and recognize came through as one word. Heal and recognize. So I had to translate it. There is nothing to do at the moment. So sit, heal, think, ponder. Just let it all flow. Just let it all go from you. There's nothing to do but to let go of control. There is so much amidst you. There is so much, and yet so little to do. So what do you do with your time? Never think that moments spent in silence or in joy are wasted moments. They're all moments that you need at the moment. Take this harsh gift which you are being given. It is not pleasant. I understand that more than any. I can feel a real emotion linked to his life as part of the Jesus movement when he says that. But what I do know and what I do feel is that you are there, my children. The anger is so raw and so fiery because you've denied yourselves for too long. You are children, and yet you have been told to behave like divinity. You are the growing seedlings of the universe. You are the next best hope that we have to take ourselves forward, and that you do not embrace yourselves. There is nothing there but you. There is nothing there. There is nothing there. The peace, freedom, the ease, the flow. There is nothing. Nothing allows you to just be. Nothing allows you to stop thinking, to stop acting. Sit in the sunshine, children. Sit in the cold sunshine. Sit in the warm sunshine. Sit in the garden. Sit in a tree. Just sit. and absorb it all. Just take it all in. Because soon enough again, the world will start to tick tock, and you will be running around like a chicken with no head. There is nothing left to do but to be. When you learn to relax, when you learn to accept, when you learn to let go, everything will be much easier. And the path to that is healing the anger, healing the pain, healing the sadness, breathing it out. It's much simpler than you think it is. You've just got to take the time to do it. There is nothing in this universe but love. Do not think that when you pass from this plane that there is going to be a fanfare or a catwalk show. There is just love. And when you leave this elevation and walk into the next, what you will understand and what you will see is that there is just love. Love does not think or feel. It just is. It does not behave. It does not act. Every time that you, this is very direct for everyone watching this, every time that you feel the need to jump in at the deep end, relax, sit back and call on me. Stop drowning. Stop drowning. You do not call on me enough. You call on yourselves too much. Responsibility, is a need. It is a mission. It is a life's purpose. However, so is support. So is nurture and care from outside as well as inside. And you fail to ask. Next time I am with you, you will know it. Because the peace and the love in your heart will overtake you and consume you. Just feel into it now. Feel the love flow from you to I. For there is nothing else but love. You are built on the vibration of love, and all you have to do is to remind yourself and yourselves that that is what you are built from. The universe is love. The Big Bang, love explosion. And he absolutely sees the irony in what he's just said because he's apparently very funny. There is nothing but love. Sit with it, feel it, exude it. Fill your cup with love and let it overflow from you. And there is only one way to do that, and that is to just suck it up. You are built from the very thing which you seek, and yet you forget that. It isn't available like a tap on demand because it is you. Just remember that. You are love. If love is not playing a part of what you're doing, then it is not for you. Seek love within yourself, not outside of yourself. Doesn't matter how much you change in your life if you do not love yourself wholly and truly. And the divine is here to show you the way to whole love, to self-love, to healing the hurts, to letting go of the anger and relinquishing the pain. There is nothing more to say, for I have said it all. And with that, I bid you adieu. Okay, so Debbie's just asked who that was. That was St. Philip, Debbie. So thank you, Tina. Tina's just said it's very apt and meaningful right now. Emma, the love explosion. Yeah, I know. Sometimes spirit, when they come through, you know, especially somebody who's been human, that laughter and that joy really does come through. and such British a double entendre to add into that. So yeah, that was lovely. That Philip's still here. He's just not sat right on top of me. Philip has and always will be somebody who will just sit with you when you're trying to find wisdom. He will just sit with you. So and if anyone has read the Gospel of St. Philip, and it is a book I'd highly recommend. I think it's an Yves Jean Leloup does a really nice translation from the original the original Greek that his was written in. Then it's really nice. It's the Gospel of St. Philip is quite clearly a lot of channeled information. Some really wonderful stuff in there about like embracing sex. Some really wonderful stuff. You can see why it probably wasn't included in the Bible. And St. Philip himself was very pro-women, so as was Jesus. So it's a really interesting, beautiful gospel, really beautiful. Some of it's really high end, and you have to read it through 2 or 3 times to kind of get your head around what he's saying in it. But it is something which I tend to dip into those for inspiration, as and when I feel like it. In the same way that you draw a card, just flip the book open to a certain page and see what wisdom Philip has for you. But I'd highly recommend. It's Yves Jean Leloup. It's a translation that I would recommend for the Gospel of Philip, which was omitted when the Catholic Church decided to put together its version of the Bible, which is the one that we all use nowadays. Fun fact. Okay, apparently I have Mother Gothel here as well, and I know who that is, but I'll explain that in a minute. If anyone's watching Enchanted, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But I've got Grandmother Spider here. Who is an ancient figure who helped build the universe, who comes from a different universe, very much tuned into, she's sort of like the very physical part of a partnership with Metatron. And she's revered and worshipped by many, many, many cultures in many different forms. But the spider is recognized for her power and her construction and guardianship of the lower dimensions, particularly the first. So if you're looking to manifest anything in your life, you're looking to rearrange apparently anything in your life, it's Grandmother Spider who spins a web and picks the threads and can rearrange things that you're heading down the path that you need to. I don't know who she said this about, but she said she comes to me from time to time, but she never makes her mind up. I don't know who that is, but somebody who watches this occasionally apparently talks to Grandmother Spider, but really never makes her mind up about what she wants. She's always changing her mind. So there we go. I don't know who that's for. Okay. I don't have much to say. I have come here because I need to rearrange the universe one last time. There is much to be done and so little time, and I haven't got the gumption. I haven't got the gumption to say it all again, but here goes. When you were small, everything was simple. When you were small, everything was fine. Remember those days. Remember those days when you believed in magic, when you believed that you could fly, when you knew that when you blew a bubble, you sent a wish to heaven and fairies lived at the end of the road. This is the time for you to step back into your immaturity, because it is your belief in growing up that stifles you, that impairs you, that strangles you. You complicate things, children. You complicate it far too much with your wills and your ways and your wants and your needs, when all you need to do is just to be and to walk. Talk if you must, but be happy. It's a choice. Just choose it. It may not feel that simple. And this is the irreverent veil which has been placed across your being, that you do not have a choice in these matters. And as this veil is removed, you will see that all you have to do is to think a thought and it will happen. There is nothing much left for me to do with you, because you are so very nearly there. Your time will come when I can return back. And you will be happy with that. You will come with me, maybe. And I will miss you all. But you are human and I am not. And that is the way of the world. Simplicity is the key. Stop wanting trite and crap. When all you want is happiness and love. Stop wanting, start being. If you remember that you are actually happy, you will be happy. If you remember that you are loved, you will be loved. If you remember that you are honoured, you will be honoured. If you remember that you are human, you will be allowed to be flawed. And that is the message, my children. Be your big, beautiful, flawed selves. That's it. That's it. Such great words and thought-provoking, says Tina. I have got my fair share of spammers tonight. It's interesting. Emma has said, stepping back into immaturity. I've been feeling that for a few weeks now. It's really interesting. I'm trying to get the kids into movies that I liked when I was a kid. And I suppose it's an excuse to relive joyous times as a child when I look at it. And obviously I don't need the excuse of getting the kids to watch it. But isn't it funny how we need those excuses? And we've been watching The Labyrinth, which is just a bizarre film when you look at the age of David Bowie and Jennifer Connelly in there. But, you know, we're not going to go about that 80s stuff now. Anyway, within that film, there's a scene where the baby is able to walk through this sort of labyrinth of stairs and corridors and upside down. And his older sister isn't, because his older sister lives in the real world. And we had this conversation with the children that the baby is young enough to believe in magic. If it thinks that it can walk on the ceiling, it will walk on the ceiling, because it will access the magic that it's supposed to. That his older sister has grown and has forgotten that side of herself that simply believed. So, yeah, it was just this complete reminder that to believe in the magic. And really, if you've got kids at home and you're not used to it, then that's kind of, for me, maybe the only way to get through the next few weeks is just to believe in magic. Because I can assure you that your kids are loving having to spend extra time with you. So just remember that. Jackie, one of my favourite movies is Labyrinth. Yeah, any sort of Jim Henson. We did Never Ending Story yesterday as well, but we watched Labyrinth and the kids have watched it twice since. That's how much they loved it. Such a good film. Kerry has been saying she's been getting flashbacks of memories in childhood when she saw fairies and new spirits. They go as soon as they come. So the message sends chills down my spine. Yeah, like it's that. Like my daughter, I remember her from the age where she could, like, you know, when they make noises instead of talking, and her noise for a dinosaur was grr. And the amount of places where we would go and she'd be like a year and I'd be cuddling her and she'd point to some corner and make a growling noise, not unhappily, because she'd seen a dragon. And as soon as she could talk, that happened more and more, where it was generally dragon stuff. She's a Scorpio, so dark stuff really doesn't scare her in the slightest. Kelly, yeah, that scene is a weird scene. It's just, it is a creepy scene. It was interesting because I wasn't too my daughter's pretty good with that stuff, but my son can kind of get fixated with things. So it's interesting how like he actually watched it and wasn't scared. I was sure that he'd be freaked out by it. Right. I said I had Mother Gothel, didn't I? Okay. So for me, Mother Gothel is, she is the representation of a lot of the European folk stories, particularly from Eastern Europe, to do with the crone energy. And it's quite interesting because if anyone has watched the Japanese film Spirited Away, that it's again this crone energy, good and bad crone within this. And she very much comes through as much maligned crone, very straightforward. At times she can appear to be wicked or to play the devil's advocate with things. So she's somebody to just be mindful of when you're talking to her, in case what she's trying to do is to actually prompt you into reaction. So she's somebody who is kind of like an intelligent conversation that you have with her. But she's like a collection. She's making it really clear. She's a collection of different mythical figures that we really don't recognize. And the only way we recognize them, she's making it clear, due to witch hunts, is, and people don't want to talk about her stories, is through, she's saying, the much maligned fairy stories. The truth is, I never was a witch. I was a queen. And I ruled. And I ruled both fairly and unfairly. Depends on your perspective. I was good and right and true and proper. But I have never been one to hold my punches. Queen does not rule if she is misheard. So you must be stoic and forthright. You must be heard. Doesn't mean shouting, it means directness. I have never been one for mincing my words, and I won't here either. There will come a time when you must all speak your truths. And I cannot say that it will be easy for you, but what I can say is this, that you will gain much from it. You will gain much because there is much power in words. Words are magical. They set an intent. They set a purpose. They set your future. So say what you're going to say with surety and never let a stumble into your lips. I have never had a time where I have been able to show my heart. And what I find now with you, my children, is that your hearts are at the forefront. Women have been much boxed and hemmed in and told to be one way or the other. Still has not finished. Women are still told to be one way or the other. You must be strong. You must be weak. You must flow. You must work. You are none of this. You are everything. It's not the same as having it all. Being everything means that you are yourself, wholly and truly. You did not give a shit about what anyone else say. All you care about is your wholeheartedness. When you put the whole of your heart into what it is that you intend to do, it will be achieved, but you can only achieve that if you put the whole of your heart into it. So question, if you cannot or do not put the whole of your heart into something, why are you bothering? This is the clue that will guide you forward for your next steps. Be mindful and careful, because over the next few weeks, you will all see an opportunity to speak, to talk, and you must take it. You'll all see an opportunity to push the whole of your heart into a thing, take it. You will all see the opportunity to reject something, take it. Your heart will lead you on your pathway. Your mind will give you the tools to make it. Your soul knows everything. Never doubt yourselves again. For I am now free to be what I was always intended to be. A guide, a spirit, a mentor, and a lover. That's it. She's not even saying goodbye. Thank you. I've never channeled from her before. I've been aware of her being around. I've worked with her on a couple of occasions. She doesn't come through as my normal crone. She comes through more of an enchantress crone for me. And I do have a crone, but she comes through as more like the fates. But she's almost got a fortune teller vibe about her, like a real, you know. She gave that was like not the sort of reading that you get off me. I do give stuff like that out in readings, but I wouldn't just open my mouth and say that. There'd be a whole preamble and a whole postamble. But a very strong. My feeling is that she probably was a magical queen, a queen who used magic in order to take her kingdom forward, which is why she was feared. Okay, that's why she was feared. Makes total sense. I don't think I've lost my connection to her. I think she's just stopped talking through me, and I think the reason for that is because she's probably going to do some other work with me at some point. Not today, apparently, but if anyone's booked in for a reading tomorrow, she feels pretty amazing in terms of what she's able to pick up and bring through. So I think she might be doing some work with me in terms of my work over the next couple of weeks. If you find yourself not quite knowing either what to say, what to do, your next path forward, she actually feels that Mother Gothel is what she introduces herself to me as, but it's to remind me of that the character Entangled. She is actually much maligned but very powerful, and I think we all know that anybody in a position of power is either seen as being good or evil. We kind of have that going on with some people who really are pushing us into some camps on the international and national here in Britain scene. So yeah, she's someone to work with if you need to find the words for something, if you need to make a decision about something you're not too sure. Like she will push you either in or out. She'll be like, come on, make a decision, chip chop. And I think it's really important for me to also point out that I've had a lot of messages through with regard to spiritual people and with regard to claiming back power. And part of that power will be for you to claim back things through money, in order for you the money to work with the people that it's intended to work with, not with the people it's currently imprisoned by. So money helps facilitate what you need to do and helps spread the good word or the good work or whatever it is that you intend to do. It might be that you're doing something very creative and beautiful and joyous. It might be that you're doing some sort of healing work in you know, whether it's clinical or spiritual fields. Money is going to help bring your message and bring what you do out to a wider audience. So it doesn't matter what it is that you're supposed to be doing with your life. You're supposed to be helping people, and most of us providing services. You're going to find that somebody who needs that service to beautify their life or make their life more functional, because for me, life is either functional or beautiful. If it doesn't serve a function or it's not beautiful, then that's the sort of rule I have for keeping things in my life and my home. So if as a spiritual person, or as a spiritual person who does a very real job, I can't always say that you know what I mean by a real job. It's not to say that what I do isn't real, but you work in sort of traditional roles that are recognized in a different way by society, by the majority of society, then you're going to find that spirit wants you to take control of money and take things back. So you will have opportunities coming up that you need to take hold of. That you might have to speak up for yourself, that you might have to sell yourself. And for a lot of us, being able to sell ourselves isn't easy, because it's very unnatural. Most of us probably come from an introvert background. And even though I'm sat here on a video and I'm talking relatively clearly and aptly, I am naturally a complete introvert, and probably up until my probably late teens, I would have blushed if somebody had spoken to me even. So I'm kind of with you on that front. So if you need help with really practical decisions in the real world, which you're not used to having to take, Mother Gothel feels like she's going to be able to fill that space for you. Okay, that's it apparently, and that's good because that's just under, like, sort of just over half an hour, which is good for me because I'm trying to keep my times down. If you're on catch up, please let me know if this resonates with you. If you're watching, thank you so much for watching live with me. Thank you so much for watching on catch up. If you're on YouTube, because this will go out on YouTube as well, hello. Please leave any comments if this resonates with you, or if there's anything that you can take from this, because it makes a difference when you're sat on the other end wondering if anyone is listening and if there's any point in doing this stuff, which we all go through those moments, I'm sure. So oh, thanks, Tracy. Tracy just said she needs to hear this. Thanks, honey. So I will love you and leave you. I will get a photo. Emma, I need to cover with her. Yeah, like she is, and the thing is, it wouldn't even be a long cover. It would be like a 5 or 10 minute chat, and she'd be like, right, bish bash bosh done. I'm going to go off and change the world in a different way, and it won't be up. It will be across somewhere, because she's very grounded. Thank you, Kerry. Thank you, Emma. So yeah, if I pop the candle out later, I will tart it up, and if you want to put names down for healing on the candle, then please do, and I will love you and leave you. Oh, a couple of things to mention. I just got told off by Mother Gothel. My sale ends on my crystal shop this weekend, so if you do want a crystal grid for healing or for any other purpose, for manifestation, anything like that, then have a quick look at my crystal grid shop. Thanks, Heather. Thanks, Kelly. Oh, I love you too, Heather. Really sweet. Thanks, Debbie. Have a look at that. And I've also got a tarot workshop coming up, whether you're new or currently working with your tarot, that may be of interest to you. 8 2-weekly lessons. The whole course is £85 with myself and David, who are both professional psychics, mediums and tarot readers, and we'll be looking at your connection as well as learning the cards as well. So it doesn't matter if you're a beginner, it doesn't matter if you've got a deck and you're maybe looking to even step into reading professionally, you should be able to find your space within that. So that's what I've got coming up. And next week on Friday, I will do just a healing service. I don't think it's going to be anything complicated because my mind really isn't there at the moment. And I think a lot of us, we just need to kind of keep it simple. So I will love you and leave you. Have a fab weekend. And I'm sure we will catch up soon. It'd be nice to catch up face to face. I'm sure it'll be virtual, but we will catch up soon. Bye, bye.